up, YouTubers? Today we're going to take a look at this flashlight. This is the ReyLight Dawn triple ReyLight. We're going to jump right into what makes it the triple and really kind of so special. So you'll notice this body tube breaks down into three pieces, not just two. So it has the standard one where you would take off basically the light, the LED bezel, and just replace with your batteries. It uses standard 18650. I tried it with multiple different batteries and it works just great. But in fact, I'm going to jump right into this. This is going to be a different kind of review. We're going to take out the base battery that comes in it, and I'm just going to get out the why this is so special and an absolutely awesome flashlight. So 18650, there's a shorter, stubbier version called an 18350. It's also a little bit wider than this. This is a 16340 lithium ion. But to just kind of try it out, I was like, you know what? Let me see if this will work as just a test. This light breaks down into a stubby form factor if you want. And that's, I believe, I don't know if the triple just refers to the three lights. It's got the 3 Nietzsche 519A, but for myself, I'm thinking of this one as the triple. It makes it for, hey, this got multiple uses. I can go with stubby like this, and it works just fine with that one because they're both producing 3.7 volts of energy. So that is just absolutely awesome. Feature number one is this one breaks down into, basically a little stubby, which I don't tend to carry. Oops, I need the other piece on. I don't tend to carry flashlights in my pocket that are this big. This is 5.8 ounces of weight. And even if it were just lighter, if it was out of aluminum, we're going to talk about the construction of it, I would not be carrying this probably every day. I usually just carry these for purpose. Like if I'm going camping or whatever, I'll definitely have one out in the dark woods, a little bit brighter light. So there it is. This is a titanium casing, and it's got an N-based activation, which I absolutely love that. So I do prefer my flashlights to be basically end activated on like that. This one comes. We'll go from the front. So the front has 12 of these little tritium holes. Now it was kind of interesting at the front side there. You saw that I tried with these. These were my replacement tritiums. Actual tritium vials cost about $15 a piece. So to fill all 12 was going to cost a whole lot more than this flashlight was really going for or worth. So I went ahead and bought these Amazon. These are phosphorus based, but when I first put them in, I noticed they slid right back out. They're 1.4 millimeter by 6 millimeter, even though it says 1.5. And sure enough, these are definitely 1.5 because the 1.4 just slides right out. So I didn't get to test them, but these were, for all 8 of these, was just $15. And yeah, so lesson learned. Not everything on Amazon is what it says it is. So, and I knew that they weren't going to be actual tritium. They were just going to be phosphorus based. So, oh well. I tested it out. So in addition to those 12 up there, you also have three down here that would allow you to go ahead and have actual tritium in there. Like I said, it would be if, why would you do that? In case you dropped it, you could maybe find it in the dark or whatever, certainly with a whole bunch of them on it. Or you could just do it, I don't know, 2 or 4, something along those lines so that you could find it in the dark, which would be a good thing. So in terms of, this one has a triple LED, and again, I don't know my various LEDs. There's Cree, and then these are Nietzsche 519As. What I will say about these is they give off a nice yellow light, so it's not like just a white pure. It's kind of warming, and I like that for what would be kind of everyday use. It's not just that shocking white light. So I like that, and with the 3, it kind of spreads out really nicely. Let's see if you can see that nice width. Let me go ahead and pull up one of my comparison ones. You'll see that one has a small little bit of area, and all of my comparison ones just have a single LED there. So really do like that. This one has a pineapple mill pattern on it, which gives from some great grip. You're not going to drop this thing in rain or any temperature. There's a drawback to that, and it's that unfortunately with this very tight titanium pocket clip, I could not even get it in my jeans without it. I mean, it literally will just tear them apart on one use. So this makes cold steel pocket knives and their clips seemed, just like angels. And yeah, that's just the only really big problem with this one is unfortunately with the pineapple pattern and, and a very tough pocket clip, yeah, it just tears it apart. So with flashlights, generally, I don't always necessarily put them hanging out. They kind of float around with keys and other things in my pocket. So there's that. So we have the nice bright. These get up to 1,000 lumens. I'm not going to really make a qualitative judgment against any of these comparison ones. Anything that has an 18650 in it and LEDs that can actually take that without burning out is going to be basically blindingly. It really comes down to what's your use case. You can get to a blinding rate of light. So yeah, but really I do like this milling on here. I like the nice flush on the back end there. So it does lay flat if you need it to, and so that's kind of a really nice thing. But let's go ahead and bring in some comparison flashlights. Let's go through it. So the out of the box, it does not come with it programmed to use the last brightness that you selected. It actually goes through from moonlight to then two mediums and then the super bright. You have to go through that every time. I did find a video, I'll try to link it below, that showed how to program this. It's not too hard, not the most straightforward, but you have to kind of basically tap this thing 8 times and then go through the different modes. So I did go through this to the second mode, which remembers the last light brightness that you used. So I pretty much want all my flashlights to go to the most previous brightness that I actually used. So in this case, this one is, I want to say, 3rd out of 4. But we'll go back through those. So the moonlight mode is actually really good. In terms of it's not super bright. So you could be in a movie theater or whatever, the moonlight mode works really well. If you're going to be using it in a theater, make sure that if you have it programmed like I did, where it's going to be remember the last brightness, make sure you go to the moonlight mode before you actually go into the theater. So important about that. The next level up is they're definitely a better brightness, and then you get to the super bright right there, and the super bright is, yeah, it's definitely, that warmed my hand up just in those 3 seconds. So this is the sort of thing that will definitely burn a hole in your pocket if you if you're not aware of that. But you'll know right away that it's, could it be a fire danger? Yeah, it could. But this one being flush back here, it's not going to really, even if it's in a bag with something, it's just not going to depress. So as a safety goes for these really kind of high-end flashlights, yeah, I feel pretty good about the safety of that. All right, let's bring out some comparisons, and I can start to kind of talk about some of the good, some of the bads, things that I prefer and don't prefer about it. So the first comparison is a Claris AR-15, and what I really like about the Claris is that it has a rotating head. Of course, there's always going to be trade-offs. With a rotating head, you're going to have a much longer flashlight. If you take a look at that, yep. This one is also USB chargeable. But of course, with USB chargeability, you end up with, that is USB Type B. So modern USB cables won't charge there. I have to keep an old USB Type B connector around to charge it on that one. And then this one likewise has a magnet. Let me go ahead and actually just bring up this. So yeah, this one has a magnet. And the magnet in combination with this rotational head, makes this one very useful. Of course, with the magnet on the end, you're not going to have a push button. So this one, the push button has to go from there. But that's the Claris AR-10. We're going to bring on, actually, I'll bring on this one first. So then the Phoenix PD-35 is definitely, that was kind of my original when I entered into really good flashlights. So kind of in terms of lengthwise, splits the difference of those two. And we'll go ahead and move the Claris out of there. But this has no rotating head. This one has an end activation. And I do like that it has a partial. If you just push it partially, It doesn't click all the way, so if you want momentary on and off, um, I really do like that about this one. But with those types, and this particular one, it will not stand on end. So that's a little bit of a problem there. Um, and then when we go through it, to go through the various light modes, you have a second button. So I'm not a huge fan of those that have a second button, and that's where we're going to get to the last kind of comparison. And so, so looking at the size of that one, and then we'll take a look at what I think is really probably a closer competitor and this is the ReyLight Mini Warrior Mini 2. So yeah, this is the Warrior Mini 2. It's definitely much more similarly sized in terms of what the carry of this is going to be in your pocket and so forth. So yeah, these have double-ended where it has activation up here. This one actually will stand on end though, so they had enough wherewithal to go ahead and put some basically stabilizers or stanchions there. And this one has partial on, but what I will say about these ReyLights is the partial on, you have to literally train yourself for how deep to go so as not to go to the super bright. You'll notice that super bright happen instantly, and it's just annoying. I wish they would have just, in all honesty, made it, you know what, if you want, you gotta, I don't know, be able to program that so that you don't have to have so much discretion of, don't push too much because you're going to have this super bright, it's going to blind you. And then likewise, you can just hit this secondary button, and then you can go through them to different brightnesses. So we'll go ahead and turn that off. But all three of these are like all in the $70-$80 range. So they're aluminum casings and so forth, and they all just have, every one of them has a single LED. This one has a triple, and this is a titanium. So you're definitely talking about an upgrade in quality of materials here. This one has a sapphire basically lens cover here. I don't know about those other ones, honestly. I've dropped them, definitely the Phoenix. I've dropped many times, including on my mountain bike. It's actually gone over with me. And so yeah, this one's definitely taken some drops, and it didn't crack. I don't know if they're just a hard acrylic or it's a sapphire crystal or not. My gut feel is probably they're maybe just acrylics. This one, the fact that the LEDs are so close to it, you'll notice that. Look at that, how close. All these other ones are very far back, and then they're just relying on basically the funneling of the light reflection going out. So on the whole, what I would say about this one is, I absolutely love it from the perspective of it's yellow. Oh, let's talk about the so this one goes for $150. They're out right now. Actually, no, I think they might be back. But Urban EDC Supply has them, and I don't know if it's an exclusive or not, but on the whole, it's really good. It's actually very fair priced. The fact that it can break down into a stubby platform, the reason that a stubby is so important for me is because these big flashlights I'm never going to put in my mouth. And in all honesty, that's one of my EDC flashlight requirements, is that it has to be light enough for me to just put it into my mouth and hold it, because I have to do that very often for various purposes. You need both hands. And that's just the way it is. So that makes this one really, I think, absolutely a star maker for it. The $150 price, I think, is actually very well worth it. The 18650. I went ahead and tried out the battery with, like I said, a couple others. This one was an X-Tar, which is like what Nightcore uses, and ReyLights. These work just fine, no problems. So yeah, it's all standard. It's good. And the great thing is, last thing I'll say about it, is the memory mode that I chose, where it remembers the last light that you were on, is it remembers that when you change batteries. I've had some flashlights and other goods that go back to the factory defaults, and then you have to go back through and reprogram it. I think it was a Streamlight Scorpion did that. In fact, yeah, it was a Streamlight Scorpion that I had done that on. And when I changed the battery, I had to go back through and find the programming for the right mode. This one retained and remembered that, so I really appreciate that. Again, this is the ReyLight Dawn the triple Dawn flashlight, and I think this is definitely a massive thumbs up. Thanks again to Kosta for giving me this. Really liked actually carrying it and just letting it run in my pocket. It's just a little bit heavy to carry for too long. Just a little while. I hope this was of use, if not interesting. Do take care.